This is PCJ Radio International, broadcasting to Southeast and East Asia from 1130 to 1227 UTC in DRM on 15645 kilohertz. News from the Asia Pacific from PCJ Radio International. I'm Dan Hensley. Australia's Prime Minister Tony Abbott met the Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the APEC summit in Bali, with the pair agreeing to increase trade between the two countries. The Prime Minister lauded China's power, saying it is a benefit the world should embrace, and Mr. Xi welcomed his enthusiasm for stronger ties. It is understood Mr. Abbott also accepted an invitation to visit China next year and wants to take business and trade representatives with him. Mr. Abbott is still to meet leaders from countries including Thailand, Canada, Singapore, Mexico, as well as the U.S. Secretary of State. George Roberts reports from Indonesia.
This is what a $125 billion hello looks like. The value of trade between Australia and China surges by the year. So does the political outreach between their leaders.
China's growing strength is a benefit to the world, not a challenge. Certainly, we in Australia owe much of our prosperity to the rapidly growing trade relations between our two countries.
Tony Abbott is keen to lock down a free trade deal with Beijing. President Xi agrees negotiations could go faster. He's invited the Prime Minister to make an official visit. It will happen in the first half of next year.
China and Australia entering into closer cooperation not only serves common interests, but will also add positive attitudes to the region.
This is the Prime Minister's first ascent to the summit of a multinational leaders gathering. He's making the most of it. Meetings are scheduled with economically and politically powerful partners over the next 2 days.
That was George Roberts' report from the APEC summit in Indonesia. The American Samoa Department of Education has established a partnership with a nonprofit senior citizens group to help youngsters in public high schools. The Education Director, Vaitanasa Dr. Salu Hunkin-Fanau, says the partnership with Tō Afua Mai Matua followed a meeting last week which about 60 members of the organization attended. Vaitanasa says the high school students will benefit. He added the Tō Afua Mai Matua members will help students who need counseling and help with their relationships with their schools and other students. Tonga Police hope the installation of closed-circuit television at the Central Police Station in the capital, Nuku'alofa, will ensure an incident such as the killing of New Zealand policeman Kali Fungavaka does not happen again. Mr. Fungavaka died in hospital in August last year after he had allegedly been beaten in the station's holding cells. 6 men, including 5 police officers, will face trial from next March on manslaughter charges in retaliation to Mr. Fungavaka's death. Assistant Commissioner Unga Fa'awa says installing the cameras was one of 2 recommendations made following a review after Mr. Fungavaka's death. He says the other move was to improve the policy around custodial practices through the Tonga Police Department program, which is supported by New Zealand and Australia. A court in Papua New Guinea has ordered a police officer and the state to pay more than $11,000 to 2 victims of police brutality. Justice David Cannings at the Waigani National Court ordered police officer Casper Poga and the state to pay Oxy Kaima $7,000 and Zaris Ken $4,000. The national newspaper reports the judge saying the breach of their human rights was both severe and continuous. Both victims had succeeded at an earlier trial in establishing liability for human rights breaches against Polga and the state. Polga had led a police squad that unlawfully raided the home of Mr. Kaima in a Port Moresby settlement more than 12 years ago. I'm Dan Hensley.
India, mysterious and mythical. Its culture can only be described as incredible. For more information on India, its sites and its culture, visit www.incredibleindia.org. That's www.incredibleindia.org.
This is PCJ Radio International.
Welcome to Switzerland in Sound, produced and presented by Bob Zanotti.
Nespresso, a clever contraction of Nestle, Switzerland's and the world's biggest food concern, and the word espresso, the traditional Italian approach to making coffee. The brand is personified by the American actor George Clooney, who appears in Nespresso advertising. Welcome to Switzerland in Sound, and also welcome to Martin Bugmann, who's the manager of a new Nespresso production center. It's quite exciting news. In Abache in western Switzerland, in Canton Vaud, which used to, incidentally, many years ago, under Roman rule, was the capital of the province of Helvetia, or Switzerland. Mr. Bugmann, for those who may not know what Nespresso is, would you please first describe the product concept and who your major target market is and where you've had the greatest successes so far?
Yes, the first thing what I can say on the product, Nespresso is really a space for the trilogy. We try to deliver the perfect coffee at the place of consumption, at everyone's home's place or wherever he likes to have the coffee, and therefore it's based on a trilogy. It's basically a combination of the best coffee which we put in these capsules, and about smart and stylish coffee machines, and the third part is really personalized customer service. It's really positioned in a luxury segment, and there we really try to reach everybody which likes to spend or enjoy for five minutes of pleasure when drinking a coffee.
This is uncompromising quality, we could put it that way, from the machine itself down to the blend.
Yes, exactly. We try to control the entire value chain with first priority on quality. We want to have really the best coffee, the perfect coffee in the cup.
Well, here in Europe, the product is certainly very well known. We mentioned George Clooney, the American actor. He identifies with the image very, very well, seems to be very successful at it, and people remember him. But in terms of sales and product turnover, where have you done the best, geographically speaking?
I think there is two things which we can have a look at. It's clear that the Nespresso started in Central Europe, in Switzerland. So this is like the highest market penetration, so to speak, is in Europe. So this is by far the most important market today. But we can say with the expansion now in our over 50 markets worldwide, we have double-digit growth in every single country.